Hello there and welcome to Mentor. I'm so excited that you are here again and please my sincere apologies that we're starting minutes behind the time, okay? I had something to do and I didn't know the time was almost up. Okay, so we really apologize. This one was not technical issues, by the way. This one was just me having a discussion before coming here. But I'm excited that we are here again, and greetings to every one of us across the globe. Thank you to every one of us for being a part of this show. And I really know that you missed this show because for about 2 weeks, I think, 2 weeks, we've not been on air. Now, I want to sincerely apologize. The first week that we missed, I was on transit somewhere in another part of Nigeria. And then last week, we had a program, we had an anniversary program. And so we couldn't stream live, okay? But I'm here with you, and you are welcome to Mentor. And I believe it's going to be an exciting moment of learning, of growth, of personal development, and so much that we are going to unpack today by the grace of God. So once again, greetings to every one of us, and thank you for being a part of Mentored. Mentored is a mentorship platform designed for leaders across various spheres of society, positioned to shape minds, refine character, and build capacity for lasting impact. That's what this show is all about. It's all about growth. It's all about transformation. It's all about character rebranding and refinement. It's all about building capacity so you can be well positioned to positively influence your sphere as a leader in society. And I believe that if you're on this show, on this platform right now, you believe in capacity building, personal development, and growth. And because you want to take the bull by the horn by bringing positive change and influence as a leader in your niche in society. So thank you for being a part of this show. We are going to begin right away, but I want you to do me a favor, hit the like button on both platforms and begin to share. If you're watching by Facebook, please hit the like button and share this broadcast right now with every of your friends, all your mutual contacts, all your friends and everybody around you. Let them know that we are live right now. If you're watching by YouTube, I'd like you to hit the like button and also share. And do well to subscribe if this is your first time being a part of this show. And by the way, for first timers, thank you so much for making out time to be part of this. And I know that by the end of this show tonight, you will not regret that you were connected. Thank you so much for that. So I want you to do that in just a minute, and then we will proceed. Thank you and welcome to Mentored. God bless you. All right, welcome back to Mentored, that show that is interested in your growth, personal development, capacity building, and transformation as a leader in any sphere of society where you are. Thank you for joining us once again, and good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever your time zone is around the world. Thank you for being a part of Mentor. And we have waited for weeks to unpack this topic that we are going to discuss briefly about. So if you're ready, as I am, let's get the show rolling. We'll start by a word of prayer. Father, thank you for everyone watching right now across the globe. And we ask, God, that you'll help us today. Give us understanding, supply us with knowledge, and help us to attain wisdom as far as the subject to be discussed is concerned. And at the end, let us evolve into better and more superior versions of ourselves. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you very much for being a part of this show. I'd like you to hit the like button and share this video or this broadcast right now. And if you've not done that, please do that as your contribution to this show, even as we get started right away. And I also want to encourage you to engage with me as the show continues on the live chat session, both on Facebook and on YouTube. Let me know where you're watching from, what city, what nation, and also at any point of the discussion that interests you, please do well to type out the point that your heart resonates with, and let's just have a conversation as the show proceeds. Once again, welcome to Mentored. Now, we've been anticipating this topic, and I want us to get into it as soon as possible. So once again, good evening to everybody. Good evening to everybody. Henry Ricotso. Please, Henry, good evening, Henry. Let us know where you're watching from. And there's also Hildegard. Right? I hope I got that name correct. Hildegard. Please let me know where you're watching from. I don't even know if that's a male or a female, but it's good to have you on the show. Thank you so much. And to everyone watching on YouTube, thank you, all my YouTubers. Thank you for being here once again, and good evening. Let's proceed. We want to talk about the path to building self-worth. Now, most of our topics in the last 1 or 2 months have been around personal development. Now, I believe if you fix the individual, you can fix the environment. That's why we're taking time to focus on ourselves first. We've had a lot of discussions, a lot of topics that have really helped. We've talked about identity crisis, right? Talked about that. We've talked about, the concept of capacity building. We've talked about validation and how you don't need validation to be who you are or who, you were created to be. Today we want to talk about the path to building self-worth. So, to a layman, or in a very simplified form, what is self-worth? What is self-worth? If you're asked that question, what is self-worth? Okay, people, let me see you give a comment. What is self-worth? And you don't have to start typing on ChatGPT or going on Google or asking any of the AI assistants, Siri or Gemini. You don't need to do that. Just as a person, I want you to reason those two words in one. When you talk about self-worth, what comes to mind? Okay, first to give me a reply, and let's see who is going to be first. What is self-worth? I'm waiting on the comment section right away. Some people may be driving now and have a difficulty getting to type. What is self-worth? Okay. Well, still keep your answers coming in, but self-worth has to do with building a personality based on values that are appreciated. Having to build yourself with values that you appreciate, especially values that align with your purpose. Or, just like the term implies, self-worth can also be, placing premium or value on your personality, your individual self. Self-worth is an internal, unconditional belief that you are valuable, lovable, and enough. An unconditional belief that you are valuable, lovable, and enough. I like that it uses the word belief. It's a conviction you'll have to build for yourself that you are valuable. You are worth so much more. That you are lovable, the right to be loved and to love, and that you are enough simply because you exist and not because of your achievements or wealth or other people's opinion. Many people try to build self-esteem on these external factors: wealth, achievements, societal recognition, people opinion. But self-worth is an inner conviction and a belief you have of yourself, that you are valuable, that you are lovable, and that you are enough. Okay, this is a very simple and straightforward answer from Debbie. A sense of value for yourself. Christiana says self-worth simply means your value as a person. Your value as a person. Your value as a person. And it starts from you believing that your value as a person. Self-worth is the intrinsic belief in one's own value, independent of external achievements or validation, impacting confidence and emotional health. Now, let's differentiate between self-worth and self-esteem, because we recently talked about self-esteem in one of our topics of discussion. Both sound alike, but they are greatly different from each other. Self-worth is unconditional, meaning your sense of self-worth does not change regardless of the underlying environmental or physical conditions or circumstances. While self-esteem can fluctuate based on success or failure. So you see, there are a lot of people whose self-esteem will increase when they are successful at a task, when they seem to do well. As we'll say, that your morale is high or your morale is boosted. And then when they experience failure, maybe in business or in ministry or in their position as leaders or in finances or even in their families or relationships, they tend to have low self-esteem. So you see that physical and environmental conditions and situations can affect self-esteem, but self-worth is intact. You build it independent of achievements. You build it independent of people's opinion. You build it independent of whether you succeed or not. Self-worth, that's the one that stays with you when the days are good or when the days get bad. When the going gets tough or the tough gets going. Self-worth is an unchangeable and unconditional sense of value that you have for yourself. I believe it's something that you must build. Okay? Now, how do you build self-worth? Well, first of all, before we talk about how to build self-worth, let's talk about signs of low self-worth. What are the signs to know that somebody is low on their self-worth? Remember, I said self-worth is the belief, the conviction of being valuable, of being lovable. You have the right to be loved and being enough, being content with who you are, regardless of the conditions around you. Now, what are those signs that we can point to know that your self-worth as a person is low? And of course, you will agree with me when you understand this definition of self-worth, that it plays a very integral role in you succeeding as an individual. There are people who don't believe that they have the right to be loved. Let's say somebody who has come out of 4 to 5 failed relationships. And some of these relationships are abusive relationships. They come out with trauma. And they come out with a sense of self-worth that makes them feel they are the cause for why their relationships don't work out. And as a result, no right. They don't feel that they should be loved. Some people's self-worth are so low that they will settle for almost anything. There's no personal confidence, no sense of value that they carry on. You know, most people who have suffered abuses get to deal with this issue of low self-worth. For some other people, working in harsh environments or harsh conditions, having to experience failure a couple of times, not really because they wanted to fail, but because there was no motivation around them to succeed. Everything they did was bad. Everything they did was labeled wrongly or was given a red flag. And as a result, they don't feel that they are valuable in anything. They don't feel that there is anything good they can offer. You know, as we say, religiously, that can anything good come out of Nazareth? Don't make people believe that about your life. And don't make people make you believe that about your life. There can always be something good coming out of you. Just because you failed or you've not done well in the past, or because you've had to deal with abuse or offenses, doesn't mean that you should look down on yourself or that you should develop a low sense of value for yourself. So what are the signs of low self-worth? Let's talk about that and see if you can recognize any of these signs in your life. Now, I want you to be realistic about these discussions. Every time we're having discussions, especially about your person, I want you to look at the points very well, imaginary, and be realistic to yourself if you find points that resonate with your condition or your current status. So try and see if you can recognize any of these signs. Number one, signs of low self-worth: difficulty in taking risk or being brave. Difficulty in taking risk or being brave. Do you struggle with taking risks? Whether calculated risk or uncalculated risk? Do you have a problem with bravery and courage, being courageous? Are you always timid when you are faced with daunting tasks? If that is your case, then it means you have low self-worth. Some people are so afraid of failure that they have come to believe that they may not be able to succeed in themselves. I mean, I know people that cannot do anything except somebody's with them. Even as far back as in school days, some people can't do their assignments on their own. In fact, some people are not sure when they do their assignments on their own. They have to go meet their colleague and say, this is what I did. Are you sure I'm correct? And then you all are students. And you can all get it wrong. Sometimes it comes as a result of, having failed again and again, or having experienced verbal abuses, being around people who have talked down on your sense of value to a point where they make you feel so timid and afraid and make you feel there's nothing good you can do. That's when you begin to have difficulty in taking risk or being brave. And you really cannot get so much done in life if you are not brave or courageous in yourself. Sign number 2, signs of low self-worth. You care about how other people perceive you. This is where many of us are guilty. You care about how other people perceive you. Always interested in what people are saying about you. Trying to build your relationship based on other people's opinions. Trying to do it with yourself as other people say. Trying to have it done in your home, on your relationship, in your business as other people say. And not caring to verify if what they are saying is authentic. You need to come to a point where you strike the balance in accepting other people's opinions. People always have their opinions, but you need to be careful not always accepting their opinions. You need to be careful in always accepting their opinions. People can be wrong. People can be wrong. Okay? Well, some people feel that, if they see me with this car, they think I'm poor. Or they think something's wrong. How will people look at my dress? What will people say about this? What will people say about that? Even in relationships among young people. Somebody can just wake up in a relationship and say, I want us to be holding hands when we are going around in public. Why? Because if we don't hold hands together, they will say, we are not dating. Something's wrong in our relationship. I know hearing what they are saying. People are talking. They are talking that they are not seeing us together again. It's like something's wrong. We have to show that you care about people's opinion. Yes. You're going to be low on self-worth. Conrad said, "You teaching good, sir." Thank you, Conrad. Thank you so much, sir. Please balance what you know versus other people's opinion. I'm not saying we're not going to listen to people, but always know that people have their opinion. And people's opinion must be subject to the originality of your life, as it has to do with your values and your purpose. Your life mustn't always look like what people say. No. Point number 3, perpetual fear of failure. Perpetual fear of failure. If you're always afraid of failure, you are low on self-worth. And I know that there are people I'm talking to right now. The moment they mention that word failure, your heart literally begins to pulsate. And I get it sometimes when we have failed so much. It becomes very difficult to think we can ever succeed. But you have to develop a confidence in yourself to keep believing in your abilities and to keep yourself motivated no matter what. I mean, even the Bible says that when a good man falls 7 times, he will rise again. There's something called codependency. That's another sign of low self-worth. Codependency, when you always want to do it with somebody, when you don't ever believe you can do it on your own. It's a sign that you are seeking external validation. And remember, we talked about the virus of validation and how to avoid it. There's also another point called crappy boundaries and self-abandonment. Crappy boundaries. You know, self-worth makes you build healthy boundaries around your life. Not to shut people out, but to regulate access. Because you love yourself. Because you place value on yourself. Because you know you're important. Because you know you have the right to love and be loved. And so your emotions, your feelings, your intelligence, your personality, your energy must not be wasted by the wrong people or by unbridled access. And so you must set healthy boundaries. But now when your boundaries are porous, or when you just experience, or when you intentionally give in to self-abandonment, these are the things you will get. Sometimes we struggle with saying no to people when we should say, we're saying yes to people, or no to people when we should say no. And some people that never say no, even when it is too much for them to carry, they will never say no. I mean, I've literally heard somebody say before, say no before my mouth. That's Nigerian vernacular. They say no before my mouth. They go, yeah, no. No, learn to say no. I can't. I understand as leaders, we try to motivate people to say, yes, you can. Don't ever say no. But match self-motivation with reality. Reality of the fact that you are human. There are times when you'll not be able to do it. And if it is not realistic to you, or if success is not in view for you, own up and say, no, I can't. Perhaps the other person may be stronger or at a better position to help or to come in. All of these are signs that you may be low on self-worth. Stop giving excuses or apologizing for your limitations. You must build self-worth. Can we just be truthful with ourselves that as humans we are limited? Can we just accept that? Of course, I know with God all things are possible, but can we accept that as human beings we are limited? And you don't need to give an excuse. when your limitation seems to get a better part of you. You don't need to defend your limitations, no. If they can't understand that you are human and it was beyond you, then so be it. I'm not saying that you don't take responsibility, but at the same time, you don't need to defend. When it is an obvious reason to the fact that it is beyond you, and you have stated that it was beyond you, it should end there. You are not Alpha and Omega. You are not God. Okay? So, be abreast with what you can do and what you can't do. And see what you can't do, or see the strength of another person or an external help in what you can't do, so that the job can be gotten done. Now, let me give you 4 ways to build self-worth. Four ways. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. 4 simple ways to building self-worth. I want you to write this down. Very, very, very important. Okay? Number 1, practice self-compassion. Practice self-compassion. It's very simple. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would treat another person. Practice self-compassion. I mean, the Bible says love yourself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Isn't it? That means the caveat for loving other people is how you love yourself. You cannot treat others right if you don't treat yourself right. There are many people who are very hostile to those around them. When you check, it is because they are hostile to themselves. They are not compassionate to themselves. They don't believe that they are deserving of certain things. They believe they have to be hard on themselves when they get it wrong. There are some people who don't even believe in the theory of mercy and compassion, that you must not always be punished when you are wrong. And it's true. You mustn't always be punished, or you shouldn't always punish others when they are wrong. Sometimes be merciful. But there are people who don't believe that. And so when you are merciful to them, it's strange, because they expect punishment. They believe they can only do right when they are punished for being wrong. When you find that kind of person in a relationship, you sure have some adjustments to do. But then again, if you want to build self-worth, please practice self-compassion. Okay? Spend time to tell yourself that you are loved and you have the right to be loved. Okay? Very important. Number 2, set healthy boundaries around your life. Set healthy boundaries around your life. Set healthy boundaries, okay? Regulate the access into your life. Learn to say yes when you need to say yes. And learn to say no when you need to say no. And don't apologize for saying no. Don't feel bad for saying no. Don't feel like you have disappointed somebody for saying no. No is no. Not because you will not, but mostly because you cannot. You have to say no. You have to learn to say no when you need to say no. Yeah, I think you should write that down. You have to learn to say no when you need to say no. There's a song we used to sing those days, wherever you go, whatever you see, do not say yes when you need to say, or when you mean to say no. I can't do it, sir. Please, can you help me? This is how far I can go, sir. Do you have any help to offer? This is all I can afford. Can you help out with more? Learn to say no. When somebody is becoming toxic in a relationship with you, learn to recline. Learn to restrain. And learn to say yes to the good things. There are some people that every time you try to do something good for them, they say no. Learn to say yes for you to be treated well. You deserve to be served. You deserve to be treated well and right. Learn to say yes. If people want to be of help to you, if people want to bless you, people want to help you, learn to say yes. That's a problem that even people like myself who are pastors, clergymen, that's a problem we have with a lot of conservationism or conservatism. Somebody wants to do good to you, say, oh no, do you need to bother yourself? Yes, so allow them to bother themselves. Sometimes people can only communicate your value to you by the gestures that they perform around you. And allow those gestures, for sometimes those are the gestures that make you realize how valuable you are. So set healthy boundaries so you can protect your energy, protect your time, protect your emotions, protect your feelings. Okay? Number 3, challenge every negative self-talk. Challenge every negative talk. Negative self-talk. Whether it is coming from you or from others, challenge it. Challenge it by inculcating positive self-talks. Sometimes you need to learn to talk to yourself. You need to learn to look at the mirror, square your shoulders, and tell yourself, I've got this. I can do it. Those people doing it out there are no more different than I am. This person got it right without 2 heads, and definitely I can get it correct. Okay? Sometimes what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. Learn to do that. Okay? Get words of affirmation. If nobody is giving it to you, you give it to yourself. Script out something. Put it on your bathroom door. Put it on your mirror. Put it somewhere you can see it. All right? And develop a habit of positive self-talk. Learn to talk to yourself. You are a person. You are an entity. You can speak to yourself. Okay? And those of you who are Christians, you understand what I'm talking about. In the Bible, we call it confession, to say what has been said. Some of us need to do that again and again because growing up, we grew in environments where all kinds of talk were negative. You were called all kinds of names. Useless, fool, lazy, indolent, insolent. And now you've grown up with those words sticking to your imagination, sticking to your mind, and it has framed up a personality that you are not aware of. But it's now sabotaging your every move towards success. It's time for you to how do you call it? When you initialize a program, what's the opposite of that? When you want to take off a programming on the system. Deactivate. deprogram, just like you reprogram something. You can deprogram something. Some of you you have a lot of deprogramming to do in your mindset to be sure you didn't believe a lie. Okay? That's the third point. The fourth point, surround yourself with support. Please limit your exposure and time to toxic relationships and individuals, and foster and facilitate relationships with supportive people. Look for people who love you, who support your growth. People with positive affirmation about you. I'm not just talking about people who all they say is good, and even when you are wrong, they will not. No. They should be truthful when they need to be truthful, but please look for people who support you, who affirm you, people who you find joy in being around them. You find that they develop a positive environment for you to grow. Do that. If it means staying away from home, especially if you're an adult now, if you've been in a household or a home where it is always negative vibes, now that you're an adult, leave. Yes, leave. Leave. Sometimes the signs that you are maturing healthily is that you are able to disagree with certain things that comes from those around you. Yeah, your willingness and ability to disagree with some of the opinions of others can be a sign of maturity. I call it sanctified rebellion. Okay? You know what's good for yourself, and you know who should be around you. Please do that. Surround yourself with a support system and build those relationships very well. Point number 5. Recognize inherent value. Recognize inherent value. Recognize inherent value. Recognize inherent value. Listen, your self-worth is not dependent on your accomplishments. It's dependent on your value within, who you are. Okay? Or your level of productivity. What you know you can do. Okay? It doesn't change whether or not you succeeded in the last task or not. Recognize your inherent value. Recognize the things you can do and know that your value comes from those things, who you are and what you can do. Point number 6, and that's the final point. Engage in self-care. Engage in self-care. Personally, perform activities that nourish your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Okay? Do that. Sometimes take yourself out. It's worth it. It's good. A little pampering can do. Okay? Sometimes engage in actions that appeal positively to your emotions. You are building self-worth, remember. And things that make for your mental well-being. Maybe words of affirmation. Maybe listening to the right people. Listening to motivational speeches. Messages that can help you. Very important. It's something you need to take personally. Because if you depend on others to do it for you, it means you're already depending on other people's activity around you to build self-worth. And you know that's what self-esteem is. Self-worth is independent of the external around you. So remember, we talked about signs of low self-worth. Hmm? Who can give me those points? We talked about it, signs of low self-worth. Who can give us those points before we go? I gave you about four points that are signs that your self-worth is low. So who can help us with that? Okay, I'm looking at the screen. Since we have signs of self-worth, of low self-worth, what is a sign that you have a high self-worth? I give you a very simple sign. When you are able to recognize your value even after a setback, when you're able to still recognize and maintain your value after a setback, maybe in your career, in business, in your finance, when you are still able to recognize your value, and when you understand that your humanity is not defined by professional success, is a sign that you are high on self-worth. I wish we had all the time to really discuss about self-worth. Maybe we should talk about it again next week. Maybe we should do a Q&A, a question and answer. Let's talk about this thing because it's more practical than it is theoretical. Okay? Even after failing, if you still have the affirmation that you are valuable, and regardless of your achievements, you remain who you are. If you still believe that your humanity should not be measured by professional success, then you are high on self-worth. Unfortunately, I think in my experience in life, this set of people are few. It's not pride, it's just self-worth. It's maintaining your dignity regardless of the outcome of your results. Okay? And I want us to be high on self-worth. Because if you don't have a high sense of self-worth, many times you will opt against decisions that should have pushed you on your path to destiny. Many times you will excuse yourself from positions. You will exclude yourself from positions that would have brought you to greatness. Many people have denied their positions on the greatness of table because of lack of self-worth. It's time for you to know that you were created for a purpose. You were born as an answer to this world to solve a problem. For some of you, several problems. And whether or not the people around you accept and accommodate this fact, the question is, do you know that about yourself? Do you believe that you are here as an answer to a problem? Do you believe that you have a lot to contribute to the success of society? Do you believe that you have what it takes to command change at your level, at your position? Do you have the courage to pursue your dream even when there is no external support? Many people get into relationships and even get married looking for support. And why I don't think there's anything wrong with that, you will not always be assured of external support. You'll only have to learn to build self-motivation, which is a product of self-worth. Because if you don't know that you are valuable, you will never see yourself affording, pursuing, or doing valuable things that are needed around you. It starts from you and it ends with you. God bless you and thank you so much for your time. I want you to watch this broadcast again and again this weekend and share it with your friends and family members and colleagues and everybody around you, and let them take time to reflect on this. Next week, we will come back for an interactive session question and answers on building self-worth. I want us to discuss it from a practical perspective. Now I'll be ready to take as much of your questions as you can. I want you to know that you are valuable, that you are lovable, and that you are enough. You know, my father used to say that every human being is like a packet of noodles. Now, in Nigeria, one of the most popular brand of noodles we have is called Indomie noodles. And you know how a noodles is packaged, all right? The very noodle itself, and then with seasoning. And that in itself is food enough. You don't need to add anything external. And I know here or there we grew up with improved recipes, adding all other things. But on a normal day, a noodle, you can cook it with just what is in the pack. That's how a human being is. You are like a packaged noodle. Everything you needed to do well and live a fulfilled life has been packaged inside of you. It's time to stop looking outwardly and start seeing the success from within. Success is within you. Success is not outside you. If you fail within, everything around you will collapse. But if you succeed from within and you maintain a healthy, valuable knowledge about yourself, it's only a matter of time when you watch success become a part of your life. I hope I've been able to motivate and inspire you today. And I believe you've had a wonderful time on Mentored. Don't forget, make sure you like this video and share it with as many as you can. Subscribe if this is your first time watching on YouTube. And follow the page on Facebook so you are part of our community. We'll be back next week, okay? God's time says I wasn't here earlier, but one sign of low self-worth is seeking validation. That's true. Blessing says, Daddy, can high self-worth result to pride sometimes? If yes, at what point should one draw the line? Now, I want you to know that pride and self-worth are two different things. Okay? Pride can sometimes stem from overconfidence. Not just in yourself, but overconfidence in your results or in your antecedents. Remember, when people are proud, what are they proud of most of the time? Accomplishments, isn't it? They've been able to do something. The moment you shift from inherent, intrinsic, to external or environmental, you've gone from self-worth to self-esteem. Self-worth is not about what you have done. It's about who you are, who you know yourself to be. Okay? So if people become proud, it's mostly because of what they have done. Yeah, a few may think what they think they can do, but most times pride comes because of what has been done or accomplished. But you see that self-worth doesn't come from achievement. It comes from a healthy and reoriented and improved understanding of who you are. You develop that mindset, you build that mindset. Okay? I hope, Blessing, I attempted your question. God's time says, sir, how can one build self-awareness? Did we talk about self-awareness before now? Okay, we talked about self-esteem. No, we talked about self-awareness in one of our discussions recently. We talked about under the virus called validation, I think, or dealing with identity crisis, we talked about self-awareness. Okay, but one of the ways you can improve your self-awareness is simply maybe through appraisals, personal appraisals. The more you appraise yourself, the more you know about yourself, because that's what self-awareness is knowing about oneself. That's self-awareness. This person, I believe you are from South Africa, Tandoro Lilala, says bless you. Thank you, Tandoro. Please let me know where you're watching from and how this broadcast has really blessed you. Thank you so much. I don't think there's any other question, but more questions, more interactions next Friday. Please make sure you look forward to 7 p.m. next Friday, Nigerian time, of course. We're going to have a practical session on self-worth. Maybe I may even bring, I may bring, one or two guests to help talk about and ask questions on that. But thank you so much for your time. It's been a wonderful, wonderful moment. I believe you've been inspired. I believe you have learned. I believe you have been blessed. And I believe that you are growing into a better version of yourself. And I see you building greater self-worth and becoming who you were created to become through or based on the foundation of high self-worth. Thank you, and God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend, and bye for now.